Hi, welcome to Ocean Yummy. So, what I decided to do, hold on, let me get this because I noticed this since I put these headphones in, it's much more clearer. You can hear me clear. Um, I'm gonna do some of the video where Troyce was a bit disrespectful on a lot of levels. Some levels he didn't have to go to be honest. I don't know if anybody else agrees, if they have seen the video. If you have seen the video, you understand where I'm coming from. Um, it's the levels to it. I feel you can make a point without being disrespectful to others and without getting, you know, so wrong. Like I don't know. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna share his video. Because I used to watch Troyce a lot. I used to, I still like his commentary because sometimes he makes good points, but other times I think he just gets a bit carried away, and it gets to levels where like you're basically insulting people for no reason. Um, to me, you don't have to be so disrespectful that uh it just doesn't compute with me. And what I notice is there's a lot of divides with the Americas and the UK on a lot of stuff. And I feel that one day I'm gonna have to either cover it, put my thoughts on it, put how I feel about it, where I'm coming from, so that people understand when they step into this on this channel, on this space, if you are from the UK, whether you're from the UK or whether you're from Americas. To me, the divide is very crazy, and I don't know whether it's down to whatever. I don't know. I believe that we all are kind of going through the same thing. It's just we're going through it in different ways, and it doesn't need to be done. Basically, I mean, there was a whole kerfuffle over a breakfast, for God's sake. Then later on, to find out that how it was the hotel where he stayed that was the problem. And food is one of the things that normally brings people together, right? It normally reunites people. It doesn't divide people. And the fact that how it turned into such a kerfuffle that it just didn't need to be had. I basically think it didn't need to be had. He is not like any other food critic that travels the world and eats food. Right. Even Mark Queens do not have all this drama. Certain ones, David, I forgot his name, who travels to different parts of the world, doesn't have all this drama, right? I don't see why there is an issue with it, basically. But I'm gonna let Choice talk his thing. And if I don't get, because I might not finish this one, I might have to come back. But I'm just giving my opinion. Right, I'm not throwing stones at him. I just feel it was a bit much what he did.
Chef Wilson says they're selling about 300 honey hot mac and cheese fries a day.
This is our most popular item on the menu.
Lee's review of them helped bring in brand new customers like Desara Hardy and her daughter London.
He has put me on to a lot of really cool restaurants. I checked out one restaurant that he went to in Dallas called Hutchkins Barbecue, which was actually really good.
After you said all this, then you came with a harsh negative. Like he came with a good point. He gave with a good point. He gave you an insight into a restaurant. He hooked you. Well, he kind of gave recommended restaurant ideas so he gave you an idea so that you can go and taste the food, and then you just come with a whole negative straight after this, which is strange because though I've watched this video, I feel like I'm just watching it all over again, but with a different state of mind on this.
good. So I will be honest, a lot of his recommendations are top tier, and he does know good food and definitely does have a good palate. Now, he of course is getting dragged in London, the United Kingdom, trying out all the different foods and the food scene. He went out to try British food, and he tried a normal English breakfast. The British were furious because he showed a horrible representation of what their food is, and he simply didn't like the food.
The bread is definitely stale. The tomatoes kind of taste like they were.
See, you should show the whole most of that short what he did, because he explains why it's so dry, and he explains why the tomatoes doesn't taste good, why the thing doesn't taste good. Now, anybody who has eaten breakfast will understand where he's coming from. Now, there's another, like I said, he got it from the hotel, so obviously it's not going to be a good grade. Wherever the hotel he stayed at wasn't good, and I feel that how though you looped it, which is fair enough, you looped it because you really hear the crackling of the bread and how dry the bread was. There was no butter on there. There was no moisture to it, nothing at all. But it's a toast. But the toast was very dry. It was toasted dry. And like I said, once again, like I said yesterday, it probably was sitting there for a while before it went up to his room.
Egg. They just fried the egg. They didn't do anything to it. Mushroom. Cooked mushroom. Nothing on it. Bubble and squeak. Doesn't taste like anything to me.
If you're going to come to London and you're going to eat a full English breakfast, why are you eating beans one for one and individually? And why are you not putting a bit of everything on the fork and eating it in one? You're not supposed to eat everything individually. You're supposed to add your own salt and season it to how you like. You're supposed to add your own sauce. If you want hot sauce, like you've said in one video, add hot sauce. We will add sauce when we want it, okay? And I don't see any butter on any of your toast. What's going on? You're having full breakfasts at a 5-star hotel. You need to go to Ends for breakfast. Then when you go...
But would you call what that was not that? Okay, they say it's a 5-star hotel. That did not look like a 5-star hotel breakfast. I mean, yes, like I said, go to different parts of London. Go to South, go to East, go to places. I mean, like, you are able to do that. But this lady here, I did see her reaction on it. The reason why I didn't use it, because she don't reflect what everybody thinks and feels. And if they all think like her, I feel really bad for the world, because like saying go to Ends and all this thing, just talk to him like as though like you're talking to your friend. Just said, okay, right, fair enough. You didn't like the toast, right? Maybe if you mix the food together, maybe if you tried it together, you had a bit of pepper, bit of tomato, bit of whatever, and then maybe it would have tasted better. But that hotel one did not taste good. I didn't even know that he went to another place and he had breakfast. So basically, even though he went to another place, which was more options, right? He could have just he could have got a even better option. I would say you didn't have to get bubble and squeak. No, I personally don't eat bubble and squeak. I wouldn't tell somebody else to eat bubble and squeak. That has never touched my palate. I don't even know what that is. Like, not everybody in London eats that, and that's what needs to be echoed out to the wider world. Right? We don't all eat like that. We don't. Okay, everybody eats differently in London. Nobody eats the same. So by her saying go to the Ends and all this stuff, giving all the street talk, all street slang, we don't all sit on that same place, okay? We can talk without using slang. We can make our point without using slang. Or like if you want to say what you have to say, just remember that how when you're talking to someone who's from another country, you need to talk so they can understand and know what you're talking about. right? So really, the whole debacle of the breakfast should not have happened. And I do believe people were sending him to different places. So what they should have done is, right, they should have said to him, look, right, Keith Lee, if you want a good breakfast, you go to A, B, C, D, right? Or maybe you can go over there. Or maybe you can go over there, right? That's what they should have done. They were sending him loads of recommendations for food to eat that he can eat and stuff like that. So I don't see why they didn't send him a breakfast recommendation where he could have an option and he could have gone pub. Like I said, pub food is one, but there is also other options out there too. Okay. And that's how I see it. And yeah, but later on, Troyce does really go down someplace I don't even understand why he went down that wormhole anyway, because he had a run-in with Trinidadians as well, where like he was saying the roti wasn't good and all this. Then when he went to Trinidad, he came back looking at things totally different. So that's what should have been done in this case. When you have someone like Keith Lee, who is one that when he recommends something, people actually do listen to him. So you have to make sure that the recommendations you give is on spar. You know what I mean? You can't give him half a loaf and then expect him to do something with it if he doesn't enjoy the food. Here, I always lose my screen or something. But anyways, even though I know I'm not gonna be on here long anyway, I'll just do half of this and then I'll do another half another time, okay? But yeah, let's hear what she says. So he went to a pub called Terry's, and she's obviously been there. That's why she's talking like this. So you cannot understand some people's passion in why they say what they say, and some people just needs not to say anything, because even yesterday most of what was said, I feel, was a total insult to anybody from across the pond. You don't have to say certain stuff. Oh, because like we eat like this, you don't eat like this. Therefore, right, you don't taste this. Therefore, right, there is preservatives in everything in London, in England, right? There's preservatives in a few products and stuff over here, what we eat. So we are just as bad as the Americans. There's really bad obesity that goes on over here too. So you cannot slate another man if the same thing's going on over in your space. Okay, it doesn't make no sense. But
individually, what's going on? Please link up with someone.
Americans have the worst food taste in the world. And you know what furthers my point? Keith Lee. Keith Lee.
Once again, that's one individual. It doesn't mean to say everybody in America is the same. I don't understand people, man. How can you say that? You don't know that. Like, social media is terrible, But anyway, let her continue.
I need a word with you. Do you know why? Because you have came to the capital of the best food in the world, aka England, and you don't enjoy any of our food. That just seems like you've got something wrong with you in America, that your palate is not quite right. It doesn't attune to our amazing food and capabilities over here. Because you're telling me you had a full English breakfast and you called it bland. Bland.
Back in the day, right, people didn't used to season English breakfasts. Now they season it now. They're a bit more liberated on a lot of stuff, okay? So, long time ago, when my grandmother came over here, they didn't know about seasoning. They didn't know about a lot of things, okay? So, you're not talking for everybody, right? You're talking for a certain set of people. You're not talking to me. You're not talking for, and I feel you're not talking to him neither. There's just like, why get a bee in your bonnet over a breakfast, right? Like I said, he should have got recommended good places and then he would have gone to the good places. You didn't recommend the man a good place. What the hell do you expect at this time? I'm going to fast forward this lady. She's annoying me. Okay. Talking rubbish.
I hate to say it, but people say the same thing about Paris. People say the same thing about the Netherlands. People say the same thing about Switzerland. The food just sucks. It just is what it is. I mean, I hate to say it, and no offense to a lot of my British viewers watching this, but y'all food nasty as fuck. Y'all food is nasty. Now, it's not all the food, of course. I will be honest. I've had some good food in the UK, and one of my favorite countries in the world is the UK. My second favorite city in the world is London. London is a really great city with a lot to offer, a lot of diversity. But I will be honest, people ain't going to London for the food. Even people in London don't enjoy London for the food. Let's just be honest. A lot of the food is bland, unseasoned, a little bit of salt and pepper, and it's just bland. I've had a lot of food, you know what I mean? Like, it took me going to like 15 different restaurants just to find food that I actually like. You know, I found some good Pakistani food out there. Pakistan food is really good.
Now you see, he went to people of with ethnicity, and he enjoyed the food, and there's nothing wrong in that. Like I said, some black people like fry ups. Some black people like food from other countries, right? They're like, you know, it doesn't, just because you are of color doesn't mean to say that how you're stuck in a box. And that's where people always get it wrong. They're stuck in a box. They think that there's one way. Now, some English food is nice, okay, because there is Italians who cook here. There's Italian, what do you call it, chefs here. There's variety of people. It's just for you to find the places for yourself. You're going to find the worst and you're going to find the best. It goes like that with everything, right? But the way how he said, okay, the food was not nice or whatever, but that's only a certain places where you went. Once again, so by you saying that, you are putting everybody, logging everybody in one box, right? And you cannot, I mean, I cannot talk for everybody in the UK. I can just talk for where I'm at, right? And another showed you, even Gully Phillips said that how certain places doesn't want that type of person around that part. So when you're saying certain things, you have to really think about how you're putting your words into play, because what you're doing, you're putting everybody in a box, and by doing that, you are insulting a nation, a country, right? That's like me saying, "Oh, I don't like." Who can I think? Nigerian food, right? There's some Nigerian food I don't like. There's some Nigerian food I do like, right? There's some real bad, not very good Nigerian places, and there's some real good Nigerian places. But you don't log everybody in the same box, right? It's the same with West Indian food. One time I bought West Indian food and it did smell real bad. So I know to myself, I'm not going to go to that place. I'm not going to write off every single Jamaican takeaway on the planet. Oh, then people are like this, that. You're logging everybody in one box, right? Right. The whole idea of food is a pleasure, which like I would say, it brings people together, right? When you go to, like, there is an Ethiopian lady who's on TikTok, and her restaurant, right, is full, jam packed nearly every single week, because people want to eat Ethiopian food and they want to enjoy Ethiopian food. And she comes on here, she comes onto TikTok, she's smiling, like you see how she loves to serve people her cultural food, right? So I don't see what is the problem. And now I'm trying not to repeat what I said yesterday, really. I just feel that how is all to do with individual taste and all that stuff, right? And what some people, what one person ain't gonna eat, another person's gonna eat, and that's how it is. So he says that how he enjoyed Pakistani food. Yeah, their food is nice as well. I like biryanis and curries. Though I can make curries myself. I can make pilau rice. I can make olu curry. I can make a few things. But sometimes I like to have something from outside because it's a change, right? And once again, you have to go by the stars and the hygiene and everything else with it. You can't just like run with it. You have to hear people's opinions on whether the food's good, rubbish, all this. But it's what Troy says later on. Now you can put in the comments, do you agree with him? Do you disagree with him? Do you think he was a bit rude in what he said? Do you think he could have coined it another way? Do you think that how he could have said his point, but just not like in that way? And I get everybody expresses themselves different, yes, right? But at the same time, you have to be mindful of certain stuff. You cause a whole divide. The strength of social media is that how it can easily sway people. It can turn people a certain way. People can turn against something because of social media. Social media is the thing where everybody and their mama's on most of the time, right? And then they see you talking a certain way, saying a certain stuff. They will instantly think that it is like it's that way when it's not.
Out there, Ghanaian food is really good out there. The Jamaican food out there is hit or miss. And I even had Algerian food out there, which was fucking trash. And I'll be honest, every time I watch food reviewers do food reviews about London, it's 9 times out of 10 never good. And anytime it is positive, you can always tell that it's paid promo. Even food reviewers, when they review British food, they never even fucking finish eating it. They just show themselves taking a bite, but you don't ever see them swallow it.
To the punters of the East End for over 90 years. One pie, one mash and liquor, a parsley-based green sauce cost under a fiver. Hashtag cheap.
You see how disgusting that looks? I'm sorry. Liquor just doesn't appeal to me. I don't know. Jelly eels doesn't appeal to me, okay? And I'm born here, right? It just doesn't appeal to me. It's never appealed to me. But when you hear tourists going and they're eating it, right? If it's not something you eat on a regular, I would not say go and eat jelly eels, liquor, and all that, right? You can eat you can eat a breakfast. You can eat, like I said, a continental breakfast. You can eat a fry up, which is like, fried stuff, fried eggs, if you like bacon, that sort of thing, and beans and all that. I think he showed a fried up earlier, right? An example of it, right? But yeah, and people fusion the food. So there'll be a Ghanaian with like how there's a Jamaican fusion with a Turkish company right now. So you'll get fusion food, there's loads of collaborations that happens over here, right? So no foods is the same sometimes. Afghanistan food is not, I think I've had Afghanistan food. I've had Lebanese food over here. I've had Ethiopian food, Eritrean food, Sierra Leone food, Nigerian food, Cameroon food. You can literally go all around the world in this little place called England. You can literally go to different countries via your taste buds because there is a lot of there's lots of communities around. So no place is never the same, right? And it is a hit and miss with some places, but it's left for you to make a decision whether you want to go back to that place or not.
Be alert. And if you're feeling really brave, you need to order some jelly deals. Next up, there ain't no better way to start the day than a full English at the Regency Cafe. This family-run Greasy Spoon has been serving up generous, hearty portions of comfort food since the 40s, and their fry-up is often touted as the best in London.
Oh my God, did y'all see his face?
Are you a career woman desperate to leave the 9-to-5 and turn your passion or your side project into a successful start?
He literally jump cutted his reaction. He even showed himself swallowing it. This is why people like Keith Lee have a place. These food reviewers are full of it. You go to these restaurants, they be like, oh my God, it's so scrumptious, so good. You try the food and the food sucks. I can't tell you how many times I've tried food in Miami, Atlanta, New England, anywhere I've ever fucking been. I can't tell you how many restaurants I've tried in different cities, and the food is just awful. And it's because a lot of these food reviewers are being paid a couple $100.
So, like I said, sometimes Troyce makes good points, right? So now he's marrying where he went to in Miami, where the food wasn't good. So he's saying basically some of the food reviewers are being paid to give reviews, and I feel the reason why they jump cut the thing because like they can't be chewing on screen. Some of them don't like to show that they're chewing on screen. They like to show that they take a bite. That's one thing Beloved Life always showed, that how she would eat a complete seafood boil on screen and other people, right? So some people might not show all of that, and like and maybe the guy did eat all the food. I mean, like, you don't know really. But Mark Queens, I know when he goes to places, he eats the food. He sits down, he explains the food, and then he progresses to eat the food, and he will eat the food on camera. He doesn't hide, he doesn't cut it, he doesn't take it away or nothing. And Mark Queens is a man who loves his food. He's from the Philippines, I think he's from, right? So when you are talking, you can't talk for every single food blogger, food critic on social media, because they all do it different. None of them does it the same, right? Mike Chan, right? When I first saw Mike Chan, right, he used to order things like HelloFresh, and then he made his chili oil. Then he will go to various restaurants. He'll go to Brazilian restaurants. He'll travel all around the area to where he is. He'll go to different places. He will meet up with other food bloggers, and they will discuss about food, because there is a whole community that's based on food. So you cannot say that Keith Lee is the be all and end all. If Keith Lee decides to meet up with people like Mark Queens, Mike Chin, the one who travels, there's a white guy who travels all around different parts of the world, and he eats food. He really eats the food. He does. He doesn't even hide it. He doesn't even mask it. He doesn't even pretend. He'll eat the food, right? Mark Queens went to Senegal, and they cooked him jollof rice their way, and he sat on the floor with the people them, and he ate the food. So yes, there, like I said, there's some people might not get it right, and some people get it right. And when you go directly to the countries now, you taste the authenticity of the food. Okay.
Dollars to $1,000 for the reviews. And Keith Lee doesn't charge anything. He does these reviews for free just so he can get an authentic reaction. And that's why he's able to thrive so much, because he's unbought and unbossed. A lot of these fucking people who complain, y'all will sit up here and be like, oh, but other food reviewers never had a problem. Yeah, that's because they're fucking getting paid fucking 70 pounds. And
well, if that's the case, I'm going to look at some English people reviewing the food and see how where the camera cuts, because you cannot say, well, I mean, he could be talking about me because I'm just saying, well, like, it doesn't happen to everybody, right? Because that's how I think. I don't think one shoe fits all. I just think it's different, right? And I don't think, yeah, maybe some might get paid and maybe some might not. And some just love food. You know what I mean? What about them just loving food and just want to taste different food, right?
16 pence to freaking review a restaurant. That ain't shit.
Like, I be watching their videos like, now swallow it, bitch. Swallow it. Because let's be real, like, the food sucks. Like, do you see this stuff? Oh, like who the fuck is eating that? London and the UK in general has good ethnic food. British and English food is trash. If you're gonna eat good British food, you have to get it from somebody who comes from a different country and added their own fusion to it. So to see people drag him and get upset because he's not representing their food very well, all fucking well, bitch. It's literally his fucking opinion. I didn't really understand why people were so upset over.
And that's exactly what I said, Choice. I think that how they took it way out of proportion. There was no need to get it that way. I'm not saying don't say nothing. It got blasted, and it wasn't even the white folks coming after him. It was the black folks coming after him. In fact, it was so ridiculous. It was just like, I mean, I played a little sample of it yesterday, and even I was disgusted listening to them. It was just crazy. Like there was no need really. Like, you know, I mean, if you're going to give an opinion, right, you watch everybody before you come with your own opinion, because we're not going to agree on everything, right? Let's just face it, right? We're going to agree to disagree. We're not going to agree and say, oh well, like whatever. The only one person who spoke sense yesterday was that one lady, and I think Gode Phillips, and that was it. Out of all of them, there was just ridiculous. Like you know what I mean? The people, only one or two white people was defending, or probably a couple of them, or how many of them? Because I don't know. I didn't watch all of them, right? Because it was getting silly after a while, right? But it comes down to this, right? Once again, it's down to individual taste. We don't all like the same thing. Then because you're born in England doesn't mean to say that how right you would like a full breakfast, a full English breakfast, right? You can do the breakfast with so many things. There's halal sausages, chicken, Islamic sausages, which I have sometimes. Sometimes, right, you don't have to order outside. There is some great places. It's just for you to look, really. Just look. That's all I'm saying on the surface of it. So I'm soon gonna come off, and I might have to come back. And you can tell me what you think so far of what Choice has said. Because this is one thing Medusa Sunshine picked up on, how insensitive he was talking. Right? He was talking very insensitive. I mean, I get he has that shocking factor. He's very controversial, right? Choice is very controversial on his opinions, right? But sometimes he makes great points, and other times, I won't say, is it near misses? He misses certain, he has near misses on certain stuff. But it's okay, because even in this half of the video, he made some good points, and some of it wasn't so good. But it's his opinion at the end of the day, right? He's right. He definitely hit the mark where he said that how, yes, the British breakfast doesn't hit, but yes, sometimes the British breakfast do hit. It all depends on how you salt the thing, do the tomato ketchup. I mean, you don't have to. Right, people think everybody eats HP sauce over here. Some people like American Dijon mustard. Some people like vegan thingy. Some people like pepper chili sauce on their breakfasts. And not all breakfasts are the same. Even the Indian people have their own take on breakfasts. They have a flat thing called it begins with D, and they eat chickpeas as a breakfast. Chinese eat rice as a breakfast. Some Chinese places. Not everybody is the same at the end of the day, right? It's all personal taste, backgrounds, all that sort of thing comes into play. And then yes, I will say I have had the English breakfast taken out of certain things. You don't have to eat blood sausage. You don't have to eat hash browns with your breakfast. You don't have to have a hard toast. You can take that all out. You know, it's choice at the end of the day, right? Individual choice, individual taste. So I'm gonna come off, and I'll see you in the next one. I might do a part 2 because I have to do a part 2 on this one. And we'll talk in the comment section, and you could tell me so far what you heard. Do you think Troyce said a bit much? Okay, so bear in mind he's a controversial commentator, right? He does controversial commentary. Sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, why did he say that? Like, really, he didn't have to say that. But sometimes he makes good points, and sometimes I don't know. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to leave it right here, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.